Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and as you did come see yesterday, I give you my match reaction and my analysis on the Manchester United Manchester City game. Of course, you know, Manchester City winning by 2-0 at Old Trafford yesterday evening, and obviously Manchester City now of course have taken a step closer of course to regaining their title. The last team to actually do that, you know, was actually, you know, Manchester United back in 2009 as well, but it's looking likely now that Manchester City are going to win the league. Of course, obviously from my own preference, you know, I'd rather Manchester City win the league than Liverpool, you know, to be quite honest with you. But if City win the league this season, obviously, you know, it's going to be their fourth league title as well. But from my own perspective, as a Manchester United fan, of course, you know, I am disappointed, you know, to be quite honest with you, because we missed out on our opportunity, you know, to get back into the top four, you know, with Arsenal dropping points yesterday against Wolves, because obviously, you know, Wolves beat them by 3-1 as well. Potentially, as I did currently say, you know, Manchester City are totally on a different level, you know, to Manchester United, and I expected us to lose yesterday, you know, to be quite honest with you, because City are on a different level to us. I think it's going to take Manchester United at least a couple of years, you know, to emulate to Manchester City's level, because, you know, Manchester City, you know, they're a well-established club, you know, the philosophy is good, the manager's good, you know, they've got great players in their team, they've invested well into the club as well, you know, their personnel is very good indeed, is Manchester City. So potentially, you know, I expected, you know, Manchester United, you know, to lose, to be quite honest with you, and at the moment, you know, we're in a really bad vein of form, you know, to be quite honest, you know, we've lost 7 of our last 9 games in all competitions. I still think top 4 is possible, you know, to be quite honest. So now Manchester United, of course, we've got 3 pivotal games, because obviously we want top 4, we want Champions League football for next season, you know, so we kind of trapped players to the highest level as well. But, you know, reflecting back on the game yesterday, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously, you know, made 5 changes in that game. He'd made 5 changes, of course. Obviously, you know, we saw Darmian making his first start on the Solskjaer, you know, Luke Shaw returning from suspension, Andres Pereira, you know, was a surprise solution, you know, he was picked in that midfield as well. I don't really understand why Ashley Young, you know, was playing, to be quite honest with you, because we do know that Ashley Young has passed his sell-by date. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now went with 5 at the back. So basically, you know, he went with I think he went with a 5-3-2 formation. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? But reflecting on the first half of the game, I thought Manchester United, you know, played quite well in the first half. You know, to be quite honest with you, you know, I think we applied ourselves. You know, the desire was there. You know, the work ethic was there, and you know, we did put an effort in that first half. You know, to be quite honest with you as well. But as I did currently say, you know, we're just not being ruthless enough in front of goal. We're not being clinical enough. We're not creating enough chances, and this is why Manchester United, of course, are not scoring enough goals, you know, to be quite honest with you. But in that first half, you know, I thought, you know, we played quite well, you know, to be quite honest. You know, Rashford was getting some decent runs in behind, you know, to be quite honest. And I thought, to be fair to Rashford, let's be honest, you know, he has been in a poor run of form as Marcus Rashford, but I thought he improved yesterday, you know, did Marcus Rashford, you know, to be quite honest with you. I don't think Fred, you know, did too bad. He wasn't brilliant, but I don't think he did too bad. Pereira wasn't too bad, but he wasn't brilliant as well. I thought Paul Pogba was very poor yesterday as well. And for me, Paul Pogba, you know, to be quite honest with you, maybe some Manchester United fans are demanding, you know, now that he should leave the club in the summer, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, to be quite honest with you. For me, Paul Pogba, when he's playing in the right vein and right manner, he is one of the best midfielders in world football, without a shadow of a doubt. And, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, has been recommended in here, I think he has been one of our most influential players. But at least now in the last 6 or 7 games, you know, Paul Pogba's performances have been way below par, you know, to be quite honest with you. He's potentially supposed to be one of the best midfielders in world football. He is also a World Cup winner as well. And I still think he is a world-class midfielder, is Paul Pogba. But for me, I just don't think he wants to be at the club anymore. I just don't think Paul Pogba, you know, wants to be at the club. And for me, he's a world-class player. But for me, at United, he's not playing around world-class players, is Paul Pogba. He's not playing around world-class players. But if he was to make the move to Real Madrid, you know, he'd be playing around better players and world-class players with Paul Pogba as well. And, you know, obviously, there was a lot of rumours going on yesterday saying about Paul Pogba, saying that reportedly there was a lot of news circulating around the media saying that reportedly Paul Pogba has told Manchester United teammates that he's intending on leaving the club this summer. And, you know, he was talking a lot about Real Madrid, you know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago was Paul Pogba as well. And I think, you know, he's intending on making the move to Madrid, of course. So if we can potentially maybe get, I think we could get 140, 150 million pounds for him, you know, for that price, you know, we could get 2 players, you know, for that price, of course, as well. So maybe some Manchester United fans are demanding, you know, that we should get rid of Paul Pogba in the summer. And he did potentially say that Manchester United, you know, are set to begin contract negotiations with him. Pogba's still got over 2 years left on his deal. There is an option of a further year as well. You know, reports were coming out, you know, quite a few weeks back saying that he was demanding 500 grand a week from Manchester United if he was to remain loyal to to the club, and if he was to sign a new contract as well. But at least in his last 6-7 games, he's been a shadow of himself. There's also been talks that he could potentially make a return back to Juventus, his former club, of course. Barcelona were linked to him last year, but Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of Paul Pogba as well, and obviously his agent Raiola has obviously been in the process of finding Pogba a new club, because he's been to Madrid a couple of times to negotiate a summer move for him. He's also been to Manchester to negotiate a summer move for him as well. And reports were coming out the other week saying that Manchester United were set to offer Pogba the captain's armband, to convince him to stay at the club. But he's heading now into his 4th season as a Manchester United player, and Solskjaer's spoken to him. Solskjaer still insists he won't leave. Solskjaer still is convinced he'll still be at Manchester United next season. But for me, I think Paul Pogba, does want to leave the club, to be quite honest with you. His performance yesterday was very, very poor indeed. But in that first half, I thought, we put a pretty decent fight up in that first half, to be quite honest with you as well. But potentially, the best chance of that first half, was actually, from Raheem Sterling. Of course, he did everything, but the finish, to be quite honest with you, Bernardo Silva had a great chance for Manchester City in the first half as well. But I thought it was totally different in that second half, to be quite honest with you. City took the lead, through Bernardo Silva, who I thought had a great game for Manchester City. Luke Shaw was to blame, for their first goal. Bernardo Silva, it was a good finish, in the end, to be quite honest with you. And, David De Gea, could do nothing about it. Then, obviously, we saw Fernandinho, come off injured in the game. Leroy Sané, came on. And obviously, Leroy Sané had obviously, scored the second goal for Manchester City. And, De Gea, was potentially, blamed for that, to be quite honest with you. And I don't know what's going on with De Gea. He's making, quite a few mistakes as well as David De Gea. He's been doing it now, at least in his last 3 or 4 games. I don't know what's going on with it at the moment. Is it something to do with a contract issue? I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you as well. And City also hit the post as well, for Sergio Aguero, so that could have been another goal for Manchester City. But City were totally better in the second half. They're good on the ball, their build-up play is fantastic as well. They're a really, really good team, and I think they have scored the most goals in the Premier League this season of Manchester City, of course. But as I did currently say, I thought Lingard was absolutely poor again yesterday, and I don't know what's going on with Jesse Lingard, to be quite honest with you. He's supposed to know what it's all about. He's progressing up the Manchester United ranks, of course, and he's 27 years of age now, is Jesse Lingard, but he had a fortuitous chance yesterday to Jesse Lingard, let's be honest, but he should have put that away, Jesse Lingard, and I don't know what's going on, with Jesse Lingard at the club at the moment, and I've been very, very disappointed, with his performances, to be quite honest. Obviously, he was playing alongside Rashford up top yesterday, but Lingard has just been very, very, very poor now for the least 2 months or something like that as well. So Jesse Lingard, was very, very poor indeed. But yeah, as we can say, we're in a bad vein of form at the moment. It's a must-win game against Chelsea on Sunday at Old Trafford, of course, as well. And I don't know what's going on, with Manchester United at the moment. Obviously, you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, we need to rebuild this summer, and obviously, we've got to get the right players in the summer. I've obviously, got the ability, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. Because for me, we're at least 3 or 4 years off from being that competitive elite level football club, of course, as we was under Alex Ferguson. Obviously, for me, I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United. I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I still think he's the right man for United, for Manchester United, of course, because he's still in the process, of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Of course, obviously, we're looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the club this summer. We are expected, to orchestrate a big summer clear out. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified, the positions, where he thinks Manchester United, of course, need to strengthen up as well. But he's looking to buy into our history, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And we do tend to none of this team is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, because he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. There's still some players here from Louis van Gaal as well. And as I did currently say, he hasn't really got the experience, Solskjaer. He hasn't got a great managerial pedigree, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I still think he's the right man, that can take Manchester United forward. Recently, we have been in an extremely bad vein of form. But the majority of the blame is on the players. Some of the blame, does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Don't get me wrong. With some of his tactics are questionable. To be quite honest with you. But reflecting back when he was interim manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in his first 3 months as interim manager, everything was going right. The players were playing well. The performances were good. The results were really, really good. And Solskjaer exceeded expectations. Now, you'll get some people coming out saying now maybe Manchester United have given Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job too soon. Maybe some people saying we should have waited till the summer to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the contract term as well. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need back in this summer. Reportedly, he's going to get a spending spree of around £250 million. Obviously, we know the club are still looking to hire a director of football to come in as well, you know, to change the structure of the club and all that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing this summer. But it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is emphasising his targets as well. But there's lots to sort out this summer. What players should come in? What players should leave? Who's going to get the captain's armband, of course? And I've just said, you know, who's going to come in, you know, to full director's role as well. But I still believe he's the right man that can take Manchester United forward as well. And a lot of money has been spent at the club, don't get me wrong. You know, we've had different managers with different philosophies. But as I said, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, as I said, because none of this team is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, as we all currently know as well. And as I did currently say, yeah, so there's quite a few players, you know, that I've expected to leave. As I did say in the game yesterday, you know, we saw the likes of Lukaku come on. You know, we obviously saw Martial come on. You know, we saw Sanchez come on as well in the game. And for me, I don't know what's going on at the moment. And, you know, the likes of Marcus Rashford, he's improved. He slightly improved yesterday, but he still isn't playing to his potential best as Marcus Rashford. And I don't know what's going on, you know, with Rashford at the moment, because I still think he's definitely in the process of developing Marcus Rashford. He's only 21 years of age. He has got immense talent as well as Marcus Rashford, as we all currently know. And he's been a United player since the age of 7. You know, he has progressed up the ranks fantastically well. He's been in the senior squad with Manchester United, of course, since 2016. And at the moment, you know, he's the short-term problem. Jesse Lingard at the moment, he's the short-term problem. You know, when Martial's been playing, you know, he's been extremely poor. Indeed, he didn't start yesterday, but he did come off the bench. And Martial's only young. He's only 23 years of age. So I do think that trio of Martial, Rashford and Lingard, they are the short-term problem. But I still think, you know, they are the long-term solution, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. And there's a lot of players that have got to really step up to the plate, including Paul Pogba. You know, he's been very poor indeed. For me, Nemanja Matic, I know he didn't play yesterday, but for me, I don't think he's good enough, you know, to represent Manchester United, you know, to be quite honest with you, because for me, he's too slow. I've got strong reservations about him, plus he's aging up as well. So for me, I do think potentially, you know, the centre defensive midfielder, of course, that's fast and tenacious as well. And at this moment in time, I think Fred is a much better solution, you know, than Nemanja Matic. He's a much better solution. I don't know if Fred is a long-term solution, you know, to be quite honest with you, but most recently, you know, he has stepped up to the plate as Fred, you know, to be quite honest with you. I don't potentially get why Ashley Young, as I did say, you know, was playing yesterday. Ashley Young was way past his sell-by date now, you know, to be quite honest with you. You know, he has been a good servant to the club as Ashley Young, because obviously this is Ashley Young's, you know, 8th season, should I say, at Manchester United. Now he has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions for the club, but for me, Ashley Young now, he gets exploited far too easily. He makes too many mistakes. He's too easily predictable, to be quite honest with you. So he shouldn't be at the club. He shouldn't even be at the club, and he shouldn't be at the club in the summer. I think it was bad business from the club, you know, giving him that new 1-year extension as well. I want Smalling out of the club in the summer as well. I want Jones out of the club in the summer. You know, for me, Smalling and Jones are no longer good enough, you know, to represent Manchester United, you know, to be quite honest with you. You know, Chris Smalling and Phil Jones. And, you know, they've been too long-serving players here. You know, this is Smalling's 9th season at the club. I think this is what Jones' 8th season with the club as well. And again, bad business from Manchester United, you know, giving Smalling and Phil Jones new long-term contracts as well. So that was a mistake from Manchester United. And as I did currently say, you know, if a new centre-back is to come in this summer, I think Eric Bailly's future, you know, could be in serious doubt as well, because Eric Bailly's been in and out of the team this season. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has preferred the likes of you know, Smalling and Jones ahead of Eric Bailly as well. Eric Bailly is heading to his 4th season as a Manchester United player, and recent reports have been circulating saying that I think he has still got a head injury as Eric Bailly. So I think he's still injured reportedly, but he's been in and out of the team this season as well. I also expect Darmian, you know, to leave in the summer, because he's enjoyed a very difficult time as a Manchester United player. I know Darmian, you know, did actually, you know, play yesterday, making his first start under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Darmian, but he's not a long-term solution for Manchester United, because he's enjoyed a very difficult time here, hasn't really been given the opportunity, you know, to be quite honest. And obviously, he's a former Torino player, where I think we paid just over £12 million for him, of course. So I think if he's to leave this summer, he would, you know, make a return back to Italy, you know, with Matteo Darmian. Ander Herrera, of course, he wasn't actually playing yesterday. Ander Herrera, I think he's still injured. I'm surprised, because I thought he'd been available, you know, to play yesterday. You can just see, you know, the difference he brings to that midfield, Ander Herrera, and I do really highly rate him, you know, to be quite honest with you. And, you know, Ander Herrera hasn't been playing recently, you know, due to injury, and obviously recent reports have been saying that he has agreed a deal to join PSG in the summer. I think he's agreed to join PSG on a free transfer in the summer. I think it's a 3-year deal, as I said, with around £150,000 a week, something like that. He did allegedly say that he was demanding 200 grand a week from Manchester United, because reportedly Manchester United have been locked in contract negotiations with Ander Herrera. So hopefully somewhere along the line he's going to be available to play on Sunday. Is Ander Herrera as well. This is Ander Herrera's 5th season at the club now. Of course, he's made 187 appearances in all competitions for Manchester United as well. But yeah, so I think we're emphasising a couple of targets, that could possibly, replace Ander Herrera, of course, if he's to leave the club this summer as well. Potentially, I want Sanchez definitely out of the club this summer because for me, Valencia is not. Sanchez, should I say? Sanchez isn't good enough, for Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. And he has no future at the club, Sanchez is no longer, playing to that highest level. He has lost that yard of pace as Alexis Sanchez as well, and totally what he's currently receiving, Alexis Sanchez, which is obviously, a hell of a lot of money. He's the highest paid player at the club. He's the highest paid player in the Premier League. He has sustained, quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player, and he has been here about 15, 16 months now, to be quite honest with you. He's very, very inconsistent indeed, is Alexis Sanchez, to be quite honest with you. So I think Man United are going to consider, getting rid of him in the summer as well. And he's just recovered from an knee injury as Sanchez. But for me, he has no future at the club, and he's 30 years of age now with Sanchez. I know it's going to be difficult to find a buy for him in the summer, considering his substantial wages he's on as well. But yeah, so we may even consider loaning him out, or unless Sanchez is willing to take some kind of wage cut, I do not know. Lukaku, for me, not good enough, to represent Manchester United either. Lukaku, for me, he battles it against big teams. He's not reliable enough. He doesn't get enough of them runs in behind, Romelu Lukaku as well. And his pedigree in the Premier League is very, very good, don't get me wrong. And, for me, he can maybe perform better, maybe when he is getting that support up front, he does look a bit more effective. But for me, Lukaku, no good, to be quite honest with you, for me, I don't think he's good enough, to play to the highest level, to be quite honest with you. Romelu Lukaku, his first touch concerns me. I've got reservations about him. He's too slow. Obviously, Manchester United, paid £75 million for him, obviously, from Everton a couple of years ago as well. Initially, Rashford, his first choice over Romelu Lukaku. And I think Lukaku's still only 25. I think if he's to leave this summer, his preferred destination, would be Juventus' Romelu Lukaku, if he was, to leave this summer. And Lukaku's agent has revealed that his future is very, very open as well. He's Romelu Lukaku. So potentially we'll try and recruit the initial £75 million we paid for him. I think we'll find it difficult, to recruit the initial £75 million we paid for him. So we did pay big money for Lukaku, and as a lot of people have been saying, maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. Maybe not spend too much money on one player, to be quite honest, because as I do keep saying, there is quite a few players out there for a reasonable figure, but we paid big money for Lukaku. We paid big money for Paul Pogba. We paid £89 million, for Paul Pogba as well. Also Mata, he's no longer playing to the highest level anymore. He's Juan Mata, and I could possibly see him going this summer when his contract expires. He's no longer playing to the highest level. He's age 30 now. He's Juan Mata as well. He's had he's had a good career in the Premier League. To be quite honest, he's been in the Premier League a lot of years now, and his pedigree in the Premier League is very, very good. This is now his 5th season as a Manchester United player. Of course, I think we paid just under £40 million for him from Chelsea. Back in 2014. Obviously, when he was a lot younger, he served 2.5, 3 years with Chelsea. Of course, when he was a lot younger, he actually began his career in Spain, with Real Madrid. He had 4 years with Valencia under Unai Emery as well. But he's no longer playing to the highest level, and he can't even get into the team anywhere, Juan Mata as well. So yeah, a lot of players are going to leave Manchester United this summer. Definitely Valencia is going, as we ultimately know, because this, Valencia obviously he's going to be going in the summer when his contract expires. This is Valencia's 10th season as a Manchester United player, as we ultimately know, and he has made over 300 appearances in all competitions. He has been a good servant to the club, but can't even get in the team now. I think he's still injured at the moment as well, but I think he's going to be leaving this summer when his contract expires as well, Antonio Valencia. So, for me, our recruitment policy is very, very poor, as you do all know that, guys, as well. So, potentially one of the positions, we do need to strengthen up. We do need to bring a right back in, and someone to replace Antonio Valencia and all that. There's been a lot of talks going on about Kieran Trippier. There's also been talks about Thomas Meunier as well, from PSG. And Thomas Meunier is a very, very good player. He's 27 years of age. He is very, very tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. But I think his defensive abilities are very, very good. He can score goals. He can provide. He can play in other positions as well. So he's versatile. He could be available for a reasonable figure this summer. I think he's only got 14 months left on his contract with PSG as well as Thomas Meunier. And I think his indicated out that he may be interested in making a move to the Premier League, Thomas Meunier as well. But he's 27, as I said, he is tall as well. So I think he's got the ability to elevate Manchester United, of course, in the next 2 to 3 years. Of course, he is highly experienced and he's proven himself fantastically well in fans with PSG. I think he's won numerous honours. I think this is now his 3rd season, is it? With Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, he's a former Club Brugge player where he did serve a number of years as well. So yeah, there's been talks that Manchester United maybe are going out to make a summer move for him as well. There's been a lot of talks about Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. One of England's youngest upcoming talents, only 21 years of age, is available for a reasonable figure. I think it cost us around 35-40 million pounds, something like that, because that's what Aaron Wan-Bissaka is valued at, as we all know as well. So he's only 21 years of age. I think he's got his defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good as well. So there has been a lot of talks about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Only broke into the Crystal Palace first team last year as well. So we have showed an interest in quite a few young players as well, which is good. Potential, as we all know, Manchester United, looking to get, a central defender in of course, and, we've been linked to quite a lot of central defenders, and, Tory Alderweireld, for me, would be a great upgrade, of already what we've got in defence, to be quite honest, because, for me, Tory Alderweireld, he's a much cheaper alternative to the likes of the Koulibalis or the Raphael Varans and all that. He's nowhere near the same level, always good, but Tory Alderweireld is available for £25 million this summer, and that's his current release clause. Obviously, he's refused to sign a contract renewal with Tottenham as well as Toby Alderweireld. This is Toby Alderweireld's 4th season as a Tottenham player. I think he's made over 150 appearances in all competitions. Don't get me wrong, I've got reservations about him now. He's just turned 30 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace as well. But I think he wants to leave Tottenham this summer. He's got a 25 million release clause. Tottenham activated a 12-month extension back in January as well. Manchester United, of course, were linked to him last summer as well, but obviously we couldn't come to an agreement to get him. He's mainly a central defender, but himself he can actually operate as a right back as well. So we have been linked to him. And don't forget, he's available for a reasonable figure as well. We do know we've been interested in Koulibaly. Obviously, Manchester United being long admirers of Koulibaly, of course, and he'd address our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well indeed as well. And we need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof. And of course, Koulibaly and Victor Lindelof, we're blending fantastically well together. But it's going to take a world record for Manchester United, to convince Napoli to do any business there with Koulibaly, and he's proven himself fantastically well in Italy. With Napoli, he's been in Italy a number of years. Of course, I think this is now his 5th season, with Napoli as well. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions. Of course, he recently signed a new deal, so he's under contract with Napoli till 2023. Manchester United, I think, had 3 bids, turned down for him in January. Of course, I think the most recent bid, was 95 million. Was it what was turned down? Obviously, we're heavily linked to him last summer as well, and it would be good for him, to come and experience, English football, to be quite honest with you. Because for me, if Koulibaly, came to if Koulibaly, come to experience English football, and he was playing in the Premier League, I think he'd produce and deliver the same element of performances, as what he's doing in Italy now with Napoli, of course, as well. So I do really, really highly rate him. He's nearly 28 years of age, of course, as well as Koulibaly, so he has still got quite a lot of years ahead of him as well. But Manchester United are still heavily linked to him, but it could take a bid of around at least 100 million, maybe 110 million, something like that as well. So potentially we'll have to make him the most expensive defender in the world. For me, the best central defender at the moment in the Premier League is probably Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk. He's addressed their deficiencies very, very well. Liverpool paid £75 million for him, and I think he's done very, very well indeed. We do know there's also been a lot of talks about Raphael Varane going on as well, and I do like Raphael Varane, but again, he's got a huge release clause in his current deal, which is £429 million or something like that. And probably Real Madrid are going to demand for this to be currently triggered, probably, if they are willing to do any business, with Raphael Varane. And even if they're not demanding for the, even if that release clause isn't demanded to be triggered, it could still cost us at least around £100 million, to get Raphael Varane. I do really, really like him. He's only 25 years of age. He's got a lot of years ahead of him as Raphael Varane, and it's quite remarkable what he's achieved. As it's quite remarkable what he's achieved as a 25-year-old. He spent the majority of his career in Spain with Real Madrid. This is now his 8th season with this is now his 8th season with Real Madrid. I think he's made just under 300 odd appearances in all competitions. I think he's won about 15, 16 major honours or something like that. He has still got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022, as well as Rafael Varane. So you do know that I really, really like him, to be quite honest with you. Reports came out quite a few weeks back saying, reports were stemming from Spain saying that reportedly he's considering, leaving Real Madrid this summer as well. But I do really, really like him, to be quite honest with you. But he's much cheaper alternatives than Rafael Varane and Koulibaly, and obviously Torre Alderweireld's one of your examples. There was talks about Costas Manolas as well. He's got a 31 million release clause in his deal with Roma as well. He's been at Roma a number of years. Don't really know much about him, to be quite honest with you, Costas Manolas. But he did currently say that Manchester United have been linked with him in the past, Costas Manolas. He plays for Roma, he's a former Olympiacos. He's also a former Athens player as well as Costas Manolas. But he's available for a reasonable figure because his release clause is around £31 million in his deal with Roma. He's a Greek defender. I think he's about 27 years of age as well. So he's a cheaper alternative as well. But we do know, obviously, the club are looking to bring a couple of additions in that midfield, as we all know. Because I do think, especially if Pogba leaves, which I think could potentially happen now, to be quite honest, because for me, he isn't settled in at Manchester United now. I think he don't even want to be at the club anymore, does Paul Pogba. For me, he's a good player, and players at that calibre want to be in Champions League football for next season. We could still get the top four, but obviously it's not guaranteed we're going to get that top four, of course, because we know Chelsea's going to be a difficult game. But for me, at United, Paul Pogba is not playing amongst world-class players, and this is what Paul Pogba basically wants, and at Madrid he's going to get that, to be quite honest with you, as well. And so I think Herrera could be leaving, but we need a couple of additions in midfield. There's been a lot of talks about, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who I do really, really like. Bruno Fernandes is, 24 years of age is Bruno Fernandes. He is Portuguese. Reports have been stemming from Portugal saying that Manchester United have been in negotiations, with Bruno Fernandes' representatives over the summer transfer, and he's tied it up in Portugal, and he's been in Portugal a couple of years with Lisbon. He's got a release clause of around £90 million in his I think his release clause is around £90 million in his deal with Sporting Lisbon, Bruno Fernandes, but he's only 24 years of age, so I do think he'd be the right solution, if he came to Manchester United. And Manchester United have instructed scouts, to watch Bruno Fernandes because his performances have been very, very good indeed. Reports came out the other day saying that he was ready for the move to the Premier League, so he may be interested in making a move to the Premier League, Bruno Fernandes as well, and there has been talks about him. There's also been a lot of talks about Joe Felix as well from Benfica, again Portuguese, only 19 years of age, of course, so he's only very, very young, is Joe Felix. Man United scouts have been watching him on a regular basis, of course, based on his fantastic performances as well, and he only broke into the Benfica first team last year. He's not yet made his senior debut for Portugal, I don't think, but he has got a buyout clause of around £100 million as Joe Felix as well, and I think he's versatile. He can play on the wing, I think he can play in the midfield as well. I think he can also play up front, can Joe Felix, so he's versatile as well, but he's only 19 years of age as well, so there was a lot of talks about that going on in January as well. And we do know Manchester United have also been interested in Declan Rice, and Declan Rice, of course, is aged 20. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents, is Declan Rice. He's mainly a defensive midfielder, is Declan Rice, as we all know. Mainly a defensive midfielder. He's growing, developing and flourishing fantastically well. Still in the process of developing, of course. Only 20 years of age, as I said, but he's flourishing, fantastically well. And, his performances this season under Manuel Pellegrini have been very, very good. And this is why he got a new contract back in December of last year with West Ham. He got a new long-term contract, and he's under contract with West Ham until 2024. But it could cost Manchester United up to around £40-50 million, to get him. West Ham would probably demand around £50 million for him. But for me, that is a reasonable figure, to be quite honest with you as well. So Manchester United, of course, have been linked with Declan Rice as well. But we do potentially obviously, the club's number one priority target, is obviously Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. But again, he's going to cost us around £100 million, of course, to get him in, Jadon Sancho. And I do really, really like Jadon Sancho, but I said if he is for sale, he's going to cost us at least a nine-figure sum of around £100 million. And he's still one of England's youngest upcoming talents. He's just recently turned 19 years of age, not too long ago. But he has proved himself in Germany, fantastically well with Borussia Dortmund as well. But, I do really, really like him. We need someone that can play between the bylines, put crosses into the box, and Jadon Sancho is capable of doing that. And Borussia Dortmund have been known, for doing business with their players. Recent reports did say that Jadon Sancho is interested in making a return to Manchester, because obviously he's a former Manchester City player where he did serve a couple of years as well. But I don't think he ever got into the first team, or he was never guaranteed to play regularly in the first team. This is the main reason why he departed Manchester City and went to Borussia Dortmund, of course, as well. So Manchester United, I think he's still the club's number one priority priority target is Sancho as well. But obviously, Solskjaer's priority, of course, is to get a right winner, of course, into the club, and I think, we need someone that can link up with the likes of Martial and Rashford, and I think Jadon Sancho, would be the right solution, to be quite honest with you. So it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is emphasising his targets, he's making plans for the summer, which is very, very good, because he can potentially see, the deficiencies in the squad. But yeah, reflecting on that game yesterday evening, first half it wasn't too bad, to be quite honest with you, but I can't remember the last time we scored from open play, to be quite honest with you. I don't think we scored from open play, is it like 4 games or something like that now as well, and that's how bad we are at the moment, to be quite honest with you. We were good in the first half yesterday evening, but again, we pressed high, we pressed our level of intensity, looked very, very good in the first half, and we pressed high at the pitch very, very well. But for me, we're not being ruthless enough in front of goal, we're not being clinical enough, we're not creating enough chances, and that's what's letting us down at the moment. So I thought we defended okay yesterday as well, but Manchester City, have got that quality. They're totally on a different level, to Manchester United, of course. And as I did say, it's going to take my club United at least a couple of years, to graduate to Manchester City's level, and this is why we've got to rebuild in the summer. We've got to get the right players in as well. So we've got a lot of issues at Manchester United Football Club at the moment that obviously do need addressing. Top 4 is still possibly on. Obviously we've got to win every game from now to the end of the season. We've got 3 games left, and I think we've got to basically win all of them. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity. We could have got in that top 4. We could have got in that top 4, yesterday, because obviously, with Arsenal losing if we'd have beat Man City, obviously at the weekend as well, suffering an embarrassing defeat to Everton, and, Arsenal also lost at the weekend to Crystal Palace, so we had an opportunity there as well. So, I don't know, to be quite honest. If Arsenal had won yesterday, I'd have definitely said, top 4 were definitely gone, to be quite honest with you, but it's still possibly on, to be quite honest with you, and yeah, as I did say, City are a great, great team, got great, great players, they've got a great manager in Guardiola, and Guardiola's done a terrific job, and, he's a great manager, he's emulating the football, what he did at Munich and Barcelona, he's took it to Manchester City, and obviously, the majority of that money Pep Guardiola has spent, Pep Guardiola has spent throughout his managerial career, obviously, the majority of that money has been spent on that Manchester City team, of course, as well, but, we're in a bad vein of form at the moment, we've lost 7 of our last 9 games in all competitions as well, so it's looking very, very bad indeed. So I don't know what's going on, to be quite honest with you, but as I was saying about Paul Pogba, of course, reportedly he's notified Manchester United teammates he wants to leave this summer. Obviously Paul probably got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the club, got sacked, because obviously Pogba and Mourinho had a really, really bad relationship, of course, as well. So I think Paul Pogba doesn't even want to be here. He's not playing like he wants to be, to be quite honest. I think he's thinking about a move to Real Madrid, to be quite honest with you, as well. But we could easily get 140, 150 million pounds for him. For me, he wants to be playing around world-class players, does Paul Pogba, and he's not getting that at United, and that's the problem, to be quite honest with you. And yeah, but Lingard, for me, I've been very disappointed with Jesse Lingard, because for me, Lingard, I like Lingard, he's 27 years of age, he's risen up the ranks with Manchester United and all that, progressing up the ranks, as I said, but for me, he's just not performing at the moment. He's Jesse Lingard, missing a fortuitous chance yesterday. I don't know how he's not scored that, Jesse Lingard, to be quite honest with you. He was fortuitous, but he still, should have scored that, Jesse Lingard, and, if he's in great form, he's going to be scoring that all day long, obviously, and I don't know what's going on with the club at the moment, but we've got to address these problems in the summer as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.